Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. Coming to you live from Neo Chicago, I am Officer Kevin.
And I'm Officer Grant, and I just realized that I forgot to download all the voicemails for this episode, so I'll be doing it as we're in conversation.
Very professional. I'm laughing because, hey, new studio, who dis?
Whoa!
We're in a different location. We'll never be at the old one again. We're at a new one now, and I'm laughing because I'm doing the intro, and I can hear my voice echoing through the entire, probably the entire building.
It's a lot, yeah. People on the 10th floor right now are like, hey,
they're new
town.
It's called new fans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you listened to the show? What'd you think about episode 124? What they might say.
Yeah, if they're home, yeah, they're listening.
Right.
So, yeah, how exciting.
New studio, new space. I am out of my mind right now. The entire past week and a half, I've been hyper fixated on the process of moving and just decluttering and throwing things out and going to Goodwill and just getting rid of just half of everything I own or more.
And you told me you threw away your Asterios Kokonos.
Don't say that out loud. You can't hold on to everything.
That's true.
The only reason that I have those Asterios posters is because I spilled whiskey on them, so... Whoops.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get some dry ones to replace them.
Yeah, maybe.
Something for the walls. You know, I'm sure you guys would enjoy the living space. We moved into this nice, beautiful apartment.
Yeah, let's put Asterios Kokonos' face right behind us.
It's a picture of our friend.
TV.
Yeah.
So that when you turn it, no more Oprah.
Did you get rid of the Oprah?
I got rid of Oprah.
Oh, what the fuck? I would have taken the Oprah.
Sorry. Well, you can have, I have a Goku piggy bank.
Yes, I'll take the piggy bank. Thank you.
The consolation prize. And also, there's a growth thing that I think has to happen when you let go of certain things. It's just man, I've been holding on to this photo of Oprah for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't need the photo of Oprah anymore. I've evolved past the photo of Oprah. You got to let go of some things sometimes.
Yeah, because
it's been difficult to do. But
you haven't moved in 10 years.
It's 10 years.
It's a long time.
It's like in the old cartoons and in the old movies, there would be the junkyard collector. The guy in the junkyard that has everything, and you go up to him and you're like, hey, Rex, do you... My car broke. Do you have an old motor? And he's like, yeah, I've got 100 old motors. Take your pick. And
do you have an old Goku piggy bank, perchance?
Exactly. So I figure, new studio, new setup, new location. Why not focus on a new, upgraded, more streamlined version of the show?
Wow. Well, first of all,
I got all these things going on in my head. I'm talking about growth and personal growth.
Yeah.
And just change of setting and all these things. And it's we've been hacking away at this large slab of marble called Thought Cops for, over 4 years now. And I know at times it's just man, It gets hard to keep going through the creative process of what can we do different? What can we do better? We've included the video stuff. We've taken large leaps and bounds to get different guests on the show. And it's I think we can still do better. And there's part of me that now that the dust is sort of settling a little more, it's we can focus our attention and our efforts on things a little bit better,
Yeah. This is also our first guestless episode since episode 10.
Right.
I want to say. Now, what is this? 227? 26? So yeah, it's been a while. Thank you. First of all, thank you to Martin Felshman and Brandon Kirkman from the live show. Yes. That was a lot of fun.
Indeed.
Hope to be doing more of those soon, possibly.
That feels like it happened a year ago.
It really does. So yeah, anytime we go for over, I know it's different for you because you moved, but anytime, even for me, I didn't move this week, but it's if we go over a week without recording, I'm what? Do I do this normally?
Yeah, it's definitely heightened it because it just feels like a whole new world for me currently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely different for me too. I mean,
we're sitting on a couch as opposed to crammed behind a stupid shaped desk, you know?
Yeah.
And eventually we'll work out like a better.
Did you get rid of that desk, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was trash. That was garbage.
Fair enough. It was, yeah.
We'll get a better desk. We have this like giant fucking like breakfast bar area that maybe we can set up in and stuff. I mean, the possibilities are limitless at this point.
Just about.
But
so no fucking guest. Oh, hey, what are you working on now? What's your social at? What's your handle? None of that fucking bull crap.
Get out of town.
You're not going to hear that shit on this episode.
I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah, now I don't know. Now I'm lost.
Well, I think here's a good segue into, you know, what I think might be an interesting topic of conversation, and we can sort of walk our way through some of these ideas, because I feel like the past couple episodes after we record, we'll sort of like talk about the recording and talk about the show and stuff like that. And
that was so awesome. We were so funny on that one.
But there's like a lot of, I think, interesting, unique topics of conversation that like maybe we should be bringing more into the show, you know, sort of thing. Just like from the point of view of like what's like authentic and what's real. And obviously we're given this platform by the people that listen to us and stuff like that. And it's like
viewers like you.
Thank you. It's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know, just the very concept of what we've been doing with the show. I feel like we can sort of, you know, fine tune it a little more and like bring into the people what the people want, or what we want the people to see from what we're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know,
I think actually, no, not really.
Well, I don't know. We should have talked about this before recording, I guess. But, you know, time is fleeting.
Yeah.
I remember during the Merit episode that we recorded when we were interviewing her, and I stopped myself and I was like, are we getting worse at this?
Yeah. Well, I think we commented that as well.
It was partially a joke, and I think partially it was like one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of shit going on right now, and I can't mentally keep up with a lot of stuff. But a lot of it's like, you know, it's been like 4 years of trying to really fine tune this craft of doing this podcast. And a lot of people say, oh, the organization of this show is, you know, better than any show, they say.
They like the segments.
They like the segments. They like the bits. They like the Google Doc. People always say, they're like, you guys have a Google Doc.
Yeah, impressive.
Incredible. And I feel like there's sort of more we can tap into with that. Like
bigger docs.
Bigger files, you know?
Files, folks, files the size you've never seen before.
Things that don't even fit on Google Drive, and I gotta pay $199 a month for extra space.
Oh man.
But you know, I feel like this show and especially the guests that we get on. The guests that we get on and our interest in a lot of these guests are sort of like the centerpiece of the show and what makes it important and unique. And I feel like we can do a lot better about like capitalizing on that, because it's one of those things where it's like, I think when we set out to do the show in the first place, there was like this need in my head to look at some of the conversations happening around like outrage culture, which now is sort of like morphed into cancel culture and stuff like that, and have like, I don't know, actual honest conversations about certain things without it turning into some sort of like, oh, I'm pushing an agenda, or I'm, you know, it's not funny, or it's not this, or it's not that, but just like to have a good time bullshitting about things that are actually affecting people's lives and their usage of the internet.
Flash mobs,
things like that. Yeah. And just like how that sort of through line has sort of connected us. And like some of these people that are, so some of these guests that we have on that are maybe a little more tapped into certain subcultures or something like that, people who are more maybe into the gaming side of the internet, or they're more into the politics side or whatever. And it's just like, I feel we can leech a lot of information into that. And I feel like we can do a better job of trying to create those threads, and I feel like if we create those threads, that the show will resonate with people better,
I think so.
I mean, I don't know if I'm sort of just
I'm just at this point, I'm open to whatever.
I'm not talking about a complete overhaul of everything. I think fine tuning.
We're still gonna have 2 minutes of hate. Everybody, fucking relax.
Everything's
not going anywhere.
Going to be the same. I think everything's just going to be better. It's just one of those things where I'm looking ahead at the potential future, and it's like, again, now that the dust is settled, there's more we can do with it.
We got to be VTubers. That's the future.
Hey, that might be next. I mean, it's easy to do. We already have those 3D models.
Oh, I almost choked on my spit. Oh yeah, I was meaning to say we do have those 3D models.
Yeah, so I mean, we can use those, and
yeah. I want to get back to fucking streaming, man.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it more and more, and I fell off because I don't know. I was like, oh, the world's opening back up. Wink, wink. Didn't really happen, and we're back to almost where we were before. So I don't know. In general, I guess I was expecting to be doing more when the world opened up, and I'm probably doing less.
I think a lot of people are doing less.
And I don't know. It's been a weird time because it's also like, you're mentioning like wanting to capitalize and all this other stuff. But I kind of feel like maybe people who are listening can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like people don't really listen to podcasts as much lately. And I have heard that from a number of people where it's like, oh yeah, I used to do that when I commuted to my job, or I used to do that when
right. And now people aren't commuting as much.
Yeah, or when I was when I used to be happy, I used to listen to podcasts. I'm not happy anymore, so I don't do that anymore.
I mean, I think the concept. This is actually another thing that I wanted to touch on, was like the concept of what is content anymore.
Yeah,
and like what do people interact with, and what's, again, sort of with staying true to the idea of like talking about these things that people are talking about, but in a way that's supposed to be a little more comedic, a little lighthearted, but still sort of sympathizes with a lot of the people that are going through a lot of these different emotions and taking that from a good place. Like
it's a weird balance to be honest, it can be a little bit exhausting every week to be like, how am I gonna spin this into some absurdist joke this week and then not alienate myself from the guest? Let's find out. Right.
And that's one of those things too, though, where I feel like the alienation from the guest is one of those things that, like, I think people understand better than we think that we do.
Because, I think so.
I think that what you're talking about with like, oh, I used to listen to podcasts when I'm happy and stuff like that, and it's like nobody's happy, but it's one of those things where it's like, I think everybody's sort of in the same boat. A lot of people are going through the same sort of stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily that we have to conform the vision of the show to like, or conform what's happening in the world to our vision of the show, but vice versa, that like the show can, conform a little more to just like everything that everyone's feeling at all points in time. And I feel like we've done a good job with that in the past.
And I would say too, on that point, like, I think part of it is like a lot of people are burned out on the internet stuff, like all this outrage culture shit. I know I am. I didn't go on Twitter like barely at all this week because I knew I could get a fucking break from it because we didn't have to like, oh, I don't have to be super prepared this week because we don't have a guest. But I'm like, man, that's probably not a good sign. But I do think that like how I do look at doing the show is like, I do think that a lot of the online is poison, and I kind of look at this as like cathartic in a way and almost like therapeutic to kind of come in here and laugh about like how absurd it all is. And I know like you've pitched the show before in a way of like, it's like mystery science theater for the internet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we can be your gateway into, because people want to know what's going on without having to fucking engage with it sometimes. So let us be your guides, and we'll get through this together, and we're gonna have a few laughs along the way, I'd like to think.
And I think even like that's, I think one interpretation of it, and I think that's a very useful interpretation of it that can, be used to really, push us in a certain direction. But I'm even looking at like, man, if we have a guest on that is like, let's say just a creator of something that like we're just really big fans of, and they don't read the news at all, sort of thing. Like, we can still conform the show to them and their worldview and their interaction. It's
part of being a good host.
Right, exactly.
A host's duties are never over.
There's just so many of these things where it's like I look back at what we've done in the past and what we can continue to do and what we can do more of, what we can do less of. And it's one of those things where I'm looking at just all of it and saying like there's still room for growth. Obviously there's room for growth within like the audience standpoint or whatever. Like, there more people can always listen, more people can always interact, engage, stuff like that. It's always interesting anytime someone like has listened to the show for a while and then just like pops into the Discord, is always like, oh, hey, thanks for like dropping in, or like, thanks for interacting. Like, it's always cool to have more people to interact with. Like, I think it makes the show better. It's more different points of view that we're taking in from everybody involved. And like, that's always cool. But
we got some great folks in the chat today too, hanging out. And I like to see people, gaming together, hanging out together.
Here's a picture of the cast of Star Trek, The Next Generation, and it says, try not to come.
Yeah, I've been staring at that the entire time.
Playing this game.
It's been incredibly distracting, actually.
I wish more people would type so that it would scroll to the top of the screen better.
Yeah.
But yeah, more to your point about like what is a podcast, or like, are people still listening to podcasts or anything?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm going to quote here real quick. People in the chat say, like, some people say like, my life hasn't changed that much. I do think I keep up with fewer podcasts than I used to. And June Beck continues to say, that said, I definitely listened to 5 hours of Thought Cops on a road trip a few weeks ago. A good time. That's what's up.
Yeah. But yeah, to a certain point, it's like, but I don't know if necessarily people are listening to podcasts more, but people are engaging with the concept of whatever content is at an accelerating rate. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, IONetRunner, thank you for posting a picture of the cat to make the other image go away. And yes, it is gone now. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
You know what I mean, though? Like, that the show in its current form maybe doesn't always have to, like, we'll always keep the fucking audio feed up. Like, that will always be like whatever. But there's times where it's like, like, I look back at the Ken Bone interview and it's like, we could have chopped that portion up and just like thrown that on YouTube and just been like, interview with Ken Bone.
Why didn't we do that?
I don't know why we didn't do that. But like, we could do that for any guest that we have on. Like, a lot of times it's like, maybe people don't want to listen to a hour and a half long show, but they'll listen to
at least sometimes. Yeah.
And it is one of those things where it's like, I keep thinking about like, what is content? What are people engaging with? Like, what can we do to, again, not just interact and engage with a bigger audience, but just like fine tune the craft of like what we do every week. And I think that based on the fact that we've done it every week for 4 years, that we've gotten good at it. But there's still, people that are the fastest runner in the world that still, that's us, the best podcasters in the world, just shaving a couple seconds off each time. You know what I mean?
As Gene Bat says, I personally really enjoy interview shows, so having more of that in the show sounds super cool to me. Well, stay tuned for the next time we actually have a guest on.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, this feels like the regroup episode.
Yeah, we're on the lam. That you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
Thought Cops on the lam.
You could say that. And you just did. But yeah, I that's like I think the mental place that I'm at right now is I'm grasping onto all these different things that are sort of happening and just going like, hey, we can still Thought Cops 2.0
Season 2.
No, I think we did season 2 already, didn't we?
I don't know.
Wasn't that post episode 100? Was
Season
that season 2?
Fuck, I don't know.
We're on Thought Cops 3.0. That's from here on out. This is updated firmware, you know. So there might be a couple changes happening, but I think they'll all be good changes. I think we can still do more to reach more people, make the show more listenable and be more engaging. Like,
yeah,
you know, I'm just looking at all these like opportunities and possibilities and stuff like that, and just going like, you know, we can do more. And I know that there's also been like times where.
Well, I just want to say real quick, I did take Zwick into Geek Squad this weekend.
Oh yeah,
and they are updating him right now.
Fantastic.
So he's supposed to be
Zwick 3.0.
Yeah, we're gonna better, faster, stronger Zwick as well.
2 peanut. No, I'm kidding.
No, he does. And they have USB 3.0 on him too.
Great.
In the urethra.
But yeah, no, and I think that's also like from a personal point of view too. Like you sort of said, sometimes it's like we'll record an episode and it's just like we'll be done with it, and it's just like, man, I'm burned out, you know, like, and it's hard to, especially like post pandemic, it's hard to, like you said, like
post pandemic, yeah,
post lockdown,
big old quotes on that one, everybody.
The whole point being like, when COVID happened, I know we had talked about like we had a bunch of new ideas and we're going to do this, it's going to be great, it's going to be fantastic, huge,
yeah,
and it's like I think the COVID shit really like put a hamper on everybody's fucking life. It dropped our viewership, our listenership down a lot.
But I'm glad to be doing the live shows again. That was my biggest thing I missed the most.
Live shows have been good, and I'm still looking at other forms of media, other forms of entertainment, and I don't think that those have gone down. It's just the
I
way
think some have, yeah.
To a certain extent, but I mean, like, look at how many people are on TikTok every single day just scrolling through fucking videos and stuff like that. Like, it's changed, and I think that like a push forward not only would like help the show and stuff like that, but help us mentally, because I do think that like,
so the episode should be 90 seconds instead of 90 minutes from now.
No, but I'm saying like the concept of like sort of getting reinvigorated into doing it and finding like more excitement and stuff like that, and then being able to showcase that better, you know, I think will help a lot, you know.
Sure. What's up, Joey? What the hell is his name though?
Joey Cadocado.
What's up, gang? Where's your fucking Discord news? You got time to be in here?
I gotta download the the voicemail still.
Yeah, we'll get it. Any other final thoughts on final musings? Anything you want to say before we get?
I don't think so.
We go right back to our old ways.
Anything? Yeah, for now, and then we'll work on some stuff, and you know, keep updating. We got 3.0 next week. It'll be 3.01.
You cannot advance or whatever. Anywho, 2 minutes of hate. That's right, everybody. It's a very famous, very favorite segment of the show in which we like to blanket punish all that annoying random crap. I love the shift in energy that just happened.
Right.
But I'm back on my bullshit. 2 minutes of hate. All that stuff we don't like. My 2 minutes of hate. You know, Grant, you mentioned TikTok. I'm about to go off on it a little bit.
Go off.
Or at least the TikTokification of other things. So I don't fully understand why every TikTok video has subtitles on it. I know you've explained to me a little before. It's like for accessibility.
So I think part of its accessibility, part of TikTok's algorithm also is like when you add more things, it tends to spit your videos out to more people. So
That's
a lot
stupid.
of times people will add captions and like letters and like GIFs and stuff like that. They'll add a bunch of things, and like you'll add music to the background of your video because it might send it out to more people who interact with that music or whatever.
That ain't right.
And people definitely still make videos without having to do that, but yeah, there's a lot of captions.
And I know, like, it's like, oh well, what if somebody's watching and they can't hear it? It's just like, maybe just don't. I don't know. Don't be on there. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Maybe don't be on there.
I mean, like, if you're on a train and you're like, well, I can't listen to it, or I don't have headphones. It's just like, are you really getting anything out of like watching a fucking like 40-second video where it's like these goofy subtitles? You can't even hear what's happening. I don't know. It just seems strange to me. But my 2 minutes of hate mostly goes to the TikTokification of other forms of media. For example, I saw the new trailer for Spider-Man this past week, and it had
in the theater or like just
on the internet. Couldn't think of the word. Couldn't think of the word. No, I think it was like a Twitter embedded video.
Okay.
Regardless.
Because like YouTube has closed captions that you can turn on or off.
No, it wasn't like that. It was like the subtitles, like every character was speaking and all the words were appearing on the screen, but they were all in like that Spider-Man font.
Oh yeah.
And like it just felt weird. It was like I don't like the homogenization of like media in general, which is what's happening, and which is ironic because I'm talking about a superhero movie. So that feels like, yeah, that would be the first thing to have that happen to it. But it was like half the words had like little like spiders crawling on them and things when they would say them. It just felt very much like this is and I know you got to evolve with the times, but it felt very much like this is movies are TikTok now. We're getting closer to that. I mean, I know it's like a short trailer, but the fact that the way that it just the subtitles were very distracting from, there's like the art of mise-en-scène in movies of like every frame is like a piece of art. You want to have things layered out a certain way. And it's like when you have these distracting Spider-Man font subtitles, not even appearing in the same part, the normal subtitles at the bottom of the screen. These are appearing like in the corner, the side, the top, the bottom. It just was really off-putting. And
I mean, it sounds like they had too much going on. Like,
that was part of it. Yeah.
Like, design things where like a good designer would look at maybe that font and be like, hey, this is too much shit going on. You can't look at it.
IO Netrunner said, wow, this is my exact outrage for that Mitch's versus the Machine movie. And from a distance, I had to open my phone to see it better. I thought he said Malcolm in the Middle movie. And I'm like, but there's a fucking Malcolm in the Middle movie? And I got excited, and obviously not the case. So yeah, I think I do think I know the exact trailer he's talking about as well. I think I've seen it before and again, they're trying to hit a demographic. It's just the way it is. But I think it's like severely off-putting to me.
Right.
Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I think subtitles on things are good. I watch a lot of foreign films, anime, and
you're a subs not dubs guy. Complaining about subs.
In a certain way, it depends. If it's a foreign language film and it has normal subtitles,
don't you just learn that language. Huh?
I'm trying. I've been studying Japanese this year.
Well, I think deaf people are probably trying to hear a little better too.
They're not missing out on anything. They're TikTok. And is that? I mean, like, okay, is that what it's for? Like, is that what it's for? Deaf people, like the subtitles. I know it's like you said, accessibility.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm tired. I've never been more tired in my life than I've been this past week.
Understandable.
I think partially, and in a certain sense, I think that it's maybe good that they've included that to a certain extent. But I think that I think that certain movie theaters also do showings of certain movies that like have accessibility in mind, sort of thing. Like sometimes they do showings of a movie with subtitles, like for that exact reason. I actually,
IO Netrunner says, or ball mouse cat runner, what the fuck? Says, I think on Twitter it's because people are less likely to listen to a video that comes up. And that is true. And that actually makes me a hypocrite because for a while I was putting our podcast clips on social media
Right.
with subtitles, which but they were always at the same. It's hard to explain if you can't, like, if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm not saying like subtitles are bad, but I'm saying these like garish, like on TikTok, subtitles just appear like they're tilted and they're, they're all over the place on the screen. It's like, just keep them in the one spot. You should have the option to toggle them on or off. That's also like my big issue with it is like, I don't like how they're jumping all over the screen, and I don't like how it's like, I would like a version which I don't have to see those. And fine, okay, if you want to say it's for accessibility's sake, give them the option to have that on there,
like a 3D glasses, but for like Google glasses, but for accessibility,
or just an on-off toggle to be like yes or no, subtitles on or off.
Right, and I said YouTube does that, so.
Right, and those kind of suck though. But
yeah,
I guess that's my punishment. A toggle.
Something that already basically exists.
Not on TikTok.
It would be nice.
Right?
It would be nice if you could turn it on or off. But
yeah.
TikTok is very much like it's one of those things where, on Instagram, like you have the photo or video that you're interacting with, and then below you have the captions.
Yeah.
TikTok just takes up the entire screen. So I think that there's like a design element where it's like everything that's on the screen is already video, and then there's just a couple buttons sort of thing. So like they probably don't want to add more buttons, but it would be nice. I mean, because if I save a video that I've made, I can either save it with or without captions, Right.
So if you have the option for that, you should be able to, on playback,
right,
on the platform, have the option to toggle it on or off.
Sure.
And even Junebat in the chat says they use audio for Instagram and Twitter posts maybe like 0.05% of the time, which actually we probably should start putting subtitles on the clips again now that I'm thinking about it. So it's not just a video of like us just like,
right,
and like people are like, yeah, that looks boring as fuck. I'm not,
right, exactly.
I'm not watching that crap.
People just start reading because it's there, and then they're
right,
like, oh,
right,
what are they talking about? And then they click it, and then they start listening to it. So it can be good. One thing that I've been doing on some of my TikTok videos, I've sort of restarted doing the Chicago videos, but a little bit of a different angle. And I've been doing like Chicago hidden gems, and they're all just like things that people all know, because there's a lot of like influencers in Chicago that are like, here's a hidden gem. It's the Target on State Street. And it's like, everybody knows that there's a Target. Like that's not hidden.
Yeah.
A hidden gem's like a hole in a wall bar that nobody goes to. You're talking about like, oh, the Sears Tower is a hidden gem. So I've been making videos like that, but I've been having the subtitles not match what I'm saying, which is like, I think a good comedy goldmine of like, you're saying something and you're like, oh, if you want to know where the Sears Tower is, look up at the fucking sky. It's the big fucking building. And then the captions say, it's located at 305 South Wacker Drive. Or
so you think it's funny to trick deaf people?
No, it's funny to trick listening people, because the deaf people are getting the nice, like the good, helpful directions. The listening people have to sit there and listen to the video and read it and be like, wait, what? That's not what it says. What?
Cashew in the chat says both of you hate deaf people.
No, I just said that I give them the good words. The listening people get the bad words. I'm giving the deaf people the good words.
You really are a saint.
What can I say?
Now it's your 2 minutes of hate.
Fuck. Let me scroll through the list, because like I said, I've been hyper focused on fucking moving. And how
about moving? My 2 minutes of hate this week is moving, folks. I hate the boxes and the bags and all this stuff.
Here's I think a good one. Is the concept of like performance versus non-performance in specifically social media. But I mean, this is one of those things where I feel like I notice it a lot if I'm like scrolling on TikTok and you see people interact with the medium in a lot of different ways, where there's a lot of people that are hyper aware of their performance and how they're coming off. And then there's a lot of people that aren't hyper aware of their performance and how they're coming off. And it's one of those things where like social media is inherently performative because like you're putting it out, you're putting something out there and you're creating a certain persona of like, this is who I want to come across as. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of different things. And there's like, that I think gets intermingled with the concept of like authenticity and like, is this like an authentic thing that happened? Or if you put a camera on someone, does that already sort of change how they interact with it? And there's this level where I'm looking at like, even to the point where it's like we do the show and we do like, you know, I'll like make TikTok videos or I'll put what like, we all do it to a certain extent, whether or not that's like you put a picture on Instagram or you post something to Facebook. It's like it's all performance. And I think that there's a part where you get tired of the performance aspect, you know, because it's like is the person that I'm trying to create in order for people to interact with me, if that's not really me to a certain extent, like, is this inherently draining? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
And I feel like sometimes I struggle with that because, especially on like the TikTok platform, for instance, like I'll make a couple different videos and I feel like that platform is one of those things where it's like you find a focus and you just do those videos for forever. Like for me, it's like I was making those like dudes from Chicago say whatever and they go whatever and they do whatever sort of thing. And it's like, that's your niche. And you just keep making videos within that niche. And it's like, I don't know if I want to keep doing that forever, you know, or like.
Maybe you want to do a different city.
Yeah, maybe I want to.
What's happening in St. Louis?
Or sometimes, you know, you make different types of jokes, different types of content and stuff like that. And it does very poorly. And it's like, because it doesn't fit with the persona that people see in you, even though the through line is still that you're creating the content and it still makes sense within the scope of what you're doing.
Right.
But that a lot of these systems and stuff like that, they don't necessarily respond well to like that level of crossover. And I feel like a lot of times that almost gives me like an identity crisis where it's just like, how do I feel? How do I want to come across to people? And to what point am I trying to come across as authentic? And does the concept of authenticity even mean anything at this point?
I think it does. You know? I do think it does. I mean, I think that authenticity is harder to come by these days for most people, definitely. And it's because of what you're saying, because people are victims to exactly what you say you're going through. Right. Just not healthy. I don't think it's healthy.
But there's also like, I feel like even within that, there's this concept of like toxic authenticity where you see too much of like people sharing too much. And it's just like,
that's oversharing.
That in and of itself becomes a performance. And that that becomes harder and harder to sort of sift through like people's conceptualization of like other people. And I do feel like that when the difference between talking to someone on like a Twitter thread versus talking to someone in real life, and like for the most part, you can talk to a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions on things and sort of come to some sort of like verbal consensus about a lot of different things that sort of happens naturally. And that just like doesn't happen on the fucking internet. And it's one of those things that like hurts my brain to sort of think about, because it's like, I think for the most part, I'm a pretty agreeable person that gets along with a lot of people and I can talk about a lot of different things. And in real life, like all that just sort of works. And then you get online and you just sort of butt heads with these conceptualizations of like how people think people are supposed to act. And like, if you say something I disagree with, I just jump down your fucking throat, even though we probably agree anyway. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a somewhat similar vein, which I know I mentioned this in the Discord earlier this week, which, by the way, if you're not in our Discord, whatever, if you're watching, listening, whatever, head on over to the description. You can join it. We got a link in every episode description. But like, yeah, people have told me that I sound different on the podcast than I do in real life. And I think that's because, I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, I don't always want to be like it's a performance. It's like, it's kind of work in a way. And I don't always want to like be acting that way because number one, it's exhausting. Number two, it's annoying. At least I think so. It's outside of this like purview of like the show, like, or people, like it's like typically, I don't know, like coworkers or, people typically it's people I don't know very well who are like, oh, this isn't, well, that's because you don't know me. Also, that's like, I'm performing on the show. So it's like, and I prefer to have it separate. Like, I think it's like, I don't know. I just think it's better, but like, to hyper focus on how, like you said, you come across and different, whatever. I don't know, man. It's like, I guess every quote unquote performer goes through that no matter what no matter what they're doing, I mean, musicians.
It's also one of those things too, where you see the public side of certain people and you look at it for what it is. And that's where like you find a lot of people that have like viewpoints that you would have never expected, because it's like, oh, here's this person that sings songs about, fucking overthrowing the current systems that we have, and it's all sort of like
awesome,
exactly. And then they're the first people that are like, you better stand up for the flag, and it's like, where's the rebellious nature? Like, they don't always sort of coincide in the way that we think that it does. And again, sometimes that's from the point of view of authenticity of like, this is who I am. I'm outspoken. I'm rebellious. So vote for Trump. And you're like, I don't know if that's not it. That doesn't line up. And I get that there's different like opinions on a lot of different things. Like, I don't want to get too far into that or anything like that. But like, just that incongruity between like what you think people represent to you and what people actually are, and that's always going to exist to a certain extent, Actually,
I have like a little bonus 2 minutes of hate that kind of piggybacks on what you're saying. Since we don't have a guest, I'm allowed to do this. Everybody don't fucking,
and it's our show.
Rip my fucking head off.
Frig off.
But how everybody's like, basically everybody's opinions on things just filter into like, what tribe are you in? What is your fucking opinion? Like, what side are you on in the culture war? Like, for example, I saw this thread recently, Netflix revealed images of the cast from the live action Cowboy Bebop adaptation.
Right.
And there's all this like debate about like, the character Faye Valentine in the show is famously very, very scantily clad.
Right.
It's a cartoon, it's an anime, it's Japan, whatever. But the actress portraying her, or at least her outfit in the live action version, it's less revealing. And then there's been a debate about like, well, it's you can't move around with, there was a cartoon character. You can't, this is real life. You can't move around with that kind of clothes. And then people are like, well, here's a cosplayer who's dressed the exact same way. And then somebody will quote tweet that and being like, I love that Netflix is making these horny nerds angry. And it's like, nobody actually has a fucking opinion on this besides just wanting to dunk on somebody on Twitter and then having to be like, I'm on the good side. And then typically if you're that vocal about being on the good side, you're probably a big piece of shit. So this whole thing, and then I loved, because I was like, I'm doing something I typically try not to do, is looking at the replies to this.
Right.
And it was actually very funny. I found some gold in there because the person...
I found some real gold.
The person...
I think you're going to appreciate this, or maybe this
it's the same thing,
It could be the same thing.
Because the person who put up this, like, quote tweeted the person who's like, Netflix is, and now before they probably like, oh, this doesn't look good, but then now they're like, oh, well, they're making nerds angry, so now I'm going to watch it. You're a fucking loser. Like, if that's how you want to spend your whole life, is just like being subversive in the most pathetic way possible, you're a fucking loser.
So I saw,
but really quick, I just want to say, like, so then this person, like, in their replies, like, somebody asks the question of like, so like, do people actually have an opinion on this, or is it just like, what side are you on in the culture war? And then the guy who put the original like quote tweet on there, he's like, well, actually, I mean, to be honest, I think the costumes look kind of dull. And it's like, they just fucking say that instead of like this whole like, nerds and like, women can't, women are not your fucking, it's like, yeah, we all know that. It's like, these people are like
Right.
hey, this looks different than the source material, that's pretty much where the conversation begins and ends. And they're calling them out for being bad people. Then when you fucking break it down and say, hey, rip off the Band-Aid of whatever stupid culture war argument you have.
Exactly.
They're like, well, I actually, I agree. I think the colors are kind of dulled. She's definitely less revealing than you would expect.
It's like, you know,
good for you, man. You got your fucking dopamine hits.
Exactly. Everybody fucking agrees with you. And again, this is, I think, sort of like the crux of like performativeness within the internet is like the idea that like, yeah, most of us like agree with those basic topics, but it's like,
just say that fucking show looks like shit. It does.
What do you choose to like? What do you choose to make as your main point of view? And that's like where the performance aspect is, because you can be like, the costumes look like shit, but oh, it's making these SJW types angry or whatever. And it's just like,
or the opposite. It's making the anti-SJWs angry. It's like, if you are just living for like who's getting triggered or whatever the case is, it's like, that is just, and again, it comes in with this fucking poison from like spending so much time with your brand and your online and this team of yes men and your replies. And
so I saw the perfect example of what you were talking about, which is from the two most unlikely of sources, and I'm going to regret saying this sentence out loud, but Ian Miles Chong tweeted something that was to the effect of like, man, if you're busy getting upset about who's wearing what in a anime adaptation, like, you should probably get a life. And this is a guy who's terminally online.
Damn,
like,
King, you dropped this. I never thought I'd be saying that.
Seriously. And so he tweeted that out, and The Quartering retweeted him and was like, wow, who would have guessed that in 2021, Ian Miles Chong would have gone full SJW. And it's like, none of this shit matters to literally anybody. This shit is so vapid, so fucking stupid, so insane that we're arguing over people's political viewpoints and leanings over things that like we're talking about a cartoon. We're talking about cartoon people.
A cartoon for babies, by the way.
Cartoon for babies.
Cowboy Bebop.
Babies. What's next? Cowboy Goo Goo?
Goo Goo Gaga, yeah. Real good stuff, everybody.
And yeah, just like that level where it's like, man, the fact that everyone feels like they need to act this way is so fucking aggravating, but also it works. Because you can sit here and have the same opinions on things that we have, which is just like, I don't know, whatever, who cares? I'll go see the movie.
Everybody should be like me. Exactly like me.
But you could hold those opinions and just be like, the SJWs are at it again, and we could probably have 10 times bigger of an audience if we did that type of shit.
And that's the thing. It's like, the same goes for all these Netflix shows. I mean, we've talked about so much like manufactured outrage, and it's like, oh, people are going to love to hate the Little Mermaid because she's black now. And it's like, no one cares. Nice try. It's like when you're that transparent about it, like, you're just losing every side of this battle.
But if you say no one cares, nice try, you get maybe 2 retweets and 10 likes. If you say this is garbage, this is bullshit, I can't believe that they did this, and they're falling victim to the woke culture more, you get hundreds of retweets, hundreds of likes, and it's just like, man, but like, to be that person, I can't imagine being that type of person that gives a shit about half of these things to the extent that anybody cares about anything.
Yeah, so my punishment, I guess it's kind of a dual punishment, since I was piggybacking off of your original 2 minutes of hate, about your online persona. I don't know, man. I'm trying to like,
I think you get sucked into the computer. You end up in VR chat, and that's just you. You don't escape it. You get stuck in Minecraft.
Yeah.
That's your life
and we all know what happens in there. Anything.
Because there is that extent to which it's like, okay, well, you can turn off your phone and whatever, interact with the world in a non-internet way. Like, none of us have to look at this stuff, but you can't do the opposite. You can't live an only online life.
Yeah.
You need sustenance. You need so you get hooked up to Elon Musk's Neuralink or whatever the fuck, and you're just you're in Toontown for the rest of your life.
You're gonna be begging to touch grass.
You won't be able to. That's when it will truly cross over into ableism, because people will never be able to touch grass again. So they'll never be able to touch grass again once they're in Toontown, throwing pies at people's faces, dropping anvils on people's heads, bonking them with large mallets.
Speaking of cartoon antics, if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news stories, and then we sentence each perpetrator to a cruel and often kind of unusual punishment.
So there's only one.
That's fine.
There's only one story this week, but that's okay because we front-loaded the episode.
Yeah,
we'll get to the important news that everybody's talking about.
Whatever.
And then next week we'll regroup and we'll
have a guest on. We'll interview them. Hey, what's your social media? How can I follow you?
Exactly.
Go back on our values.
Right.
No, I love the guests.
Yeah, the guests are pretty good. They're pretty all right.
It's weird without him.
Sorry to make you sit in the same room as me. So speaking of celebrities.
Oh, this is just awesome.
This is. Do you want to?
Let's get loud.
This up?
Yeah. I just want to say, let's get loud. That's how you know it's a good story. Is when one of us goes like,
when we
right beforehand. So I guess there's a Cinderella movie coming out now. This looks just about as good as the Cowboy Bebop live action, in my opinion.
Better.
Some of the costumes on display here are just incredible. I love James Corden, and they didn't spare any sex appeal with him. You could actually, I'll preface this, you can hear his dick moving around inside the costume. So James Corden, who the fuck? I don't know who any of these other people are. Camila Cabello.
She's like a singer.
Billy Porter and Idina Menzel stop traffic in Los Angeles for a flash mob with a cover of Jennifer Lopez's "Let's Get Loud" to promote #Cinderella movie. This is the fucking. Man, like people were over flash mobs in 2012. It is 2021. They're promoting a Cinderella movie again. When it's one of these fucking Disney movies, like live action Disney movies, I don't fucking think anybody likes.
Most of them have been pretty poorly received.
Hey, but how he would throw some fucking celebrities at it, and we'll make a few bucks.
Well, that's what they are. They're just like, hey, Donald Glover is Simba, and people are like, okay, that's cool. Do they have this song in it? And they're like, no, we didn't put that song in it. And it's like, so why would I watch the movie?
Yeah, no music in this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
You want to show this off to the?
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
God, I wish I were in this car. I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Here it comes.
Oh wow. So
that's
Los Angeles, notorious for awful traffic.
I thought you were gonna say okay,
and other stuff, but they stopped traffic. And again, like, this is probably staged. I don't think they actually stopped traffic. That being said, I'm not going to see the movie, and I wasn't going to see it before. I'm definitely not going to see it now. And this clip just really emphasizes how much I fucking hate theater kids. And I really do think like it takes a special story to unite a truly divided nation. Like there's like it takes a rare.
James Corden is the new Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly. James Corden is the new Jeffrey Epstein, because not since Jeffrey Epstein, not since 9/11 has this country been more united in our battle against theater kids who, like, just the way he prances off after he does that, like, pelvic thrust. So for those of you just listening, he comes up, he's in this like mouse costume, and he is like pelvic thrusting at the driver of the car. And he's like, "Let's get loud,"
and you see what you think is the outline of possibly his penis.
Yeah.
Now, it could be his pants.
It could be.
It could be an ill-fitting costume, but it's not good. It's. I wish I didn't have to think about it.
But again, it's just like this desperate need for attention. And just when he prances off after he does it, where he's just like, you can tell, like, this guy has no idea how embarrassing this is about to be for him. Because like they just like thrive on this, like, they kind of never grew out of this high school mentality of like, I need to be popular.
It really makes me appreciate Conan's ability to do on the street segments and to make himself look like an idiot.
Right.
That's funny because
he's humble.
You know that when they were all doing this stupid fucking dance number in the middle of the street, that they were all like, this is it.
This is awesome.
This is going to make the rounds. It's going to be a hit on social media. People are going to be liking it. They're going to be retweeting it. This is going to be great. We're going to do so much good in the world. We're going to be the change we want to see in the world. And like, you drop fucking Conan O'Brien off in like fucking Chinatown or whatever, and he's just like, hey, what's that? And they're like, what the fuck is this white 7'2" white dude doing here? Why is he so fucking dumb? And it's just like, man, do I appreciate people that understand actually how to perform comedy so much better looking through it through that lens. I mean, as opposed to, again, just theater kids that are like, look at me, I need attention. Look at how funny this is. Ooh, look how fun. Everybody
in the world hated this video except for Sleep Science. Which again, still will not be seeing the film.
He loved it. It was his favorite thing. I can't wait until later. He's like, guys, I didn't say that actually. Okay,
I was just planting the seed for conversation later on. Right, I want to keep people engaged. Oh God, we gotta wait. What is that?
Nobody look.
Yeah, spoilers.
Whoops. Sorry, I'm not used to doing the show.
I think it's still up there.
Nobody look at those phone numbers that are on this.
We got to cut that out.
Yeah. Zwick, do your magic. Whoops.
Yeah.
Anyway. Everybody hates James Corden. Does anybody like James Corden? Is anybody like...
I think some people do. Some people do. I don't get it.
I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the story.
My punishment is
Morning glory.
The traffic does not stop this time. There were some funny posts where it's like just pictures of the guy from like falling up like in his car, or like I posted like the gif of like Nicolas Cage from Mandy covered in blood in the car seat. Like, I don't know, just simple stuff like that,
Yeah, it's good. It's perfect.
Anywho,
I guess let's get to voicemails.
Yeah, okay. That's what's up. Hey, if you want to give us a call, our number is 312-788-7361. You can always send us an audio file. I'm not talking about a guy who is one of the, really into audio. I'm talking about a
person who likes to listen to high fidelity equipment.
I'm just talking about a file, an MP3, preferably a WAV file, if you could. That'd be great.
What a lame joke. Fuck you.
Where the fuck have you been? Just pop your ass in here at the end and make fun of our fucking show.
How dare you? You pay us money.
So, yeah, anyway, give us a call, 312-788-7361. Without further ado, let's hit it. Let's get loud.
Let's get
loud.
Fucking loud.
Hello, Thought Cops. Once again, it is I, Leo the Incredible, gracing your voicemail.
Yes, you are.
On what strangely is a Sunday. Not sure I like it. Nonetheless, as my call-in as Deputy Leo, I do have a thought crime to report.
Oh.
I believe, and this is purely subjective perhaps, that retro, as being cool, has gone too far. And let me explain. Have you seen the price of game collections?
Yes.
It's insane. That which I loved as a child that could be procured at $25 a pop is blown up to $100.
At least.
And
or more, yeah.
I don't believe that should be the way forward. I think gaming should move forward. The retro thing, bah, Move past it. Nobody keeps old washing machines and believes that they're at the pinnacle of being cool. I mean, could you imagine, for example, uploading a 2021 production of a live show and making sure it only goes up in 480p?
Shut the fuck
Is that really
up.
cool? Is that the pinnacle of being cool when it comes to retro? I don't know, gentlemen. I think you should discuss it among yourselves and have a wonderful Sunday.
Yeah, I do. Real quick, I do apologize for the quality of the. At least we got the audio was better this time.
Yeah.
But yes, Yosef was correct in pointing out that it did look like it was shot on a potato, which apparently there's a potato setting we forgot to turn off on the camera. So
whatever, it's good enough. It'll be better next time.
You know what? Hey, you know what's better resolution? Being there in person.
Yeah. So fly to America.
Yeah. It's that easy.
I don't know. I agree and I disagree with that take. I mean, it's one of those things where you see this with music collectors, how a lot of people are going back to vinyl, and even still, because like for a while, vinyl was like one of these things where it's like, oh, the resurgence of vinyl. And
so
like,
you got some. You've been buying some vinyl.
Yeah, I got some vinyl over there. Where people it was like a bunch of hipsters that were collecting it at first, and then you had a bunch of, excuse this, but audiophiles that were collecting it. And they're like, not only does vinyl like sound better, obviously, but it like holds up because it lasts longer than like CDs eventually become digitally corrupted.
For those of you just listening at home, Grant is adjusting his thick rimmed glasses and twirling his curly mustache as he talks about vinyl records, and he's sipping on what's something that
cold brew.
Yeah,
an IPA. How about that?
He's sipping on a cold brew IPA.
But
before it was cool.
I mean, I think it's sort of similar, like for older video games too, because I mean, I got a couple NES cartridges over there. I have a huge collection of N64.
Yeah,
games.
Don't you have a copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Yeah,
it's probably worth a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
but then
I got a lot of.
You're gonna sell it, and you're gonna wish you could still play it on Twitch. Ooh, right. That would be a good one to stream.
That's why I don't want to.
That would be good.
I streamed that a long time ago. I got stuck in the game though. Like,
yeah, it's kind of janky.
It's aged kind of poorly. It's a funny game. It's a fun game, but it's not a great platformer compared to similar games.
Yeah, still fun though. It's still good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love holding on to that old shit. Like, it's still good. It doesn't become bad. Like, yeah, an old washing machine. Actually, to be
fair, comparison.
A lot of older washing machines, while being less energy and water efficient, seem to last a lot longer. I mean, there's like old people that are like, I've had this washing machine for 80 years. And it's like, how my sister got a new washing machine that broke, and then the replacement broke within a year.
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't make them like they used to. And same thing for old video games. But a $100 price tag or more is bullshit. It should not be like that.
Agreed. And I was reading something recently where I think some of that might be like artificially inflated because like some of these like games that are going for like a lot of moolah, let's just say, are being like artificially inflated by the people who put them on sale for that much money.
Right.
I don't know.
And there's a lot of like buying and reselling and shit like that. And all that does is serve to jack up prices.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because there's people like me that want to collect things to actually use them. You know?
Hey, next time, jack off. Don't jack up.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. Anyway, next voicemail here.
Hey, Stock Cops, it's 688 Attack. So I'm calling you from episode 131.
Wow.
And I'm just calling to ask, in the future, is Riley still a thing from the podcast? Because he's really fucking annoying, and I'm kind of hoping it's like not really part of it.
I guess we will find out.
So I guess I'll hear your answer in a couple months when I catch up to the show and have already answered the question for myself.
That's right. I will not spoil you.
Yeah.
Enjoying the show. Take it easy.
Hey, thanks.
You fucking weirdos.
Appreciate it.
Didn't have to toss that in at the end, but
I think that was his first voicemail that he left. Correct?
I think so. Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, key to the city to 688. attacks
going through the whole backlog. Yeah,
he's gone through the entire backlog, and he notifies us on his progress pretty consistently. And I don't know if anybody else has been doing that I'm aware of, just like listening from episode 1 all
I don't know. I think maybe like some people get only so far.
Yeah.
And then
I would totally burn out.
Yeah.
But
let's do we have any more?
No,
actually, I think Aaron left one. He left an audio file.
Oh, was that for this episode, or was
it was like from a couple days ago.
Whoops. Okay, let me open that up. Oops, not that one.
Let's get loud. So fucking awesome.
Baba Booey, Howard Stern's bussy, Baba Booey.
All right.
That actually was worth it.
If you'd like to leave your own voicemail, 312-788-7361, or send a audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Thank you guys for listening. That's been this week's episode.
And we'll see you next time.
With a guest.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Hopefully the setup will be good too, but we'll do what we gotta do and evolve.
Bye-bye!
See you, Space Cop.